Barbie dolls were created by Mattel as a response to the world being tired of having to play with baby dolls, which forced little girls to assume the role of mothers. These new dolls, Barbies, came in various occupations and could be whatever they wanted to be in Barbie Land. In Barbie Land, there were multiple Barbies and Kens, and the Ken dolls' lives depended on their relationships with their Barbies. The main Barbie goes about her day in Barbie Land, where everything is perfect and pink. She never misses a beat in her perfect daily routine. Barbie's day includes going to the beach, where she meets other Barbies, Kens, and Alan. Tensions arise between the Kens. Ken tries to impress Barbie but ends up comically falling while running towards the sea. However, Barbie quickly resolves the matter, and all is well in Barbie Land. At night, the dance party is going wonderfully, and a massive dance number takes place. However, the dance is momentarily interrupted when the stereotypical Barbie wonders out loud if the other Barbies ever think about dying. The next day, Barbie's morning routine goes completely wrong. She starts malfunctioning, with her feet turning flat and experiencing bad breath, among other issues. Concerned, the other Barbies ask her to visit Weird Barbie. Barbie learns that Weird Barbie became the way she is because the little girl who played with her in the real world had played too hard. Now, Weird Barbie takes care of the other Barbies to ensure they don't malfunction like she did. Barbie confides in Weird Barbie about her issues. Weird Barbie believes that it's all due to a glitch in the continuum between the real world and Barbie Land. She explains that the real world and Barbie Land are connected, and something has gone wrong in the real world, leading to Barbie's malfunction. She asks Barbie to go to the real world and find the girl who played with her, with the intention of cheering her up. Barbie is initially reluctant and unwilling to go to the real world, but Weird Barbie persuades her to make the trip. Barbie bids farewell to all the other Barbies. However, the other Ken, Ryan Gosling, shows up and sneaks into Barbie's car, insisting on accompanying her to the real world. As Barbie enters the real world, she quickly realizes that it's not as perfect as Barbie Land. She experiences catcalling and harassment from men, highlighting the male-dominated nature of the real world, in contrast to the women-centric Barbie Land where women hold positions of power. Barbie responds by punching a man who harasses her, which results in her getting arrested. To avoid further trouble, Barbie and Ken decide to change their outfits and end up stealing new ones from a shop. Unfortunately, their actions lead to another arrest. The police contact Mattel, the company responsible for creating Barbie and Ken, and inform them that two of their dolls have gone rogue and are now in the real world. In a parallel development, Ken takes an elevator to the top floor of a building and bursts into a meeting with the CEO of Mattel. While this is happening, Barbie asks Ken to give her some time alone to focus on finding the little girl who played with her in the real world. Barbie sees a vision that shows how the little girl who used to play with her was eventually forced to stop playing with dolls as she grew up. The vision is emotional for Barbie as it reveals how the girl was compelled to do things she did not like. Meanwhile, Ken explores the real world and discovers that men enjoy a very high status, holding positions of power and authority. Barbie calls out to Ken and asks him to accompany her to a high school where she intends to look for the little girl she had seen in her vision. Upon reaching the school, Barbie meets the little girl from her vision, who is revealed to be a tween named Sasha. However, Sasha is not happy to see Barbie and accuses the Barbie dolls of setting back the feminist movement by 50 years. She believes that dolls like Barbie, created for girls to play with, have contributed to issues like the mental and physical problems in women. Sasha's harsh words hurt Barbie deeply, leaving her heartbroken. While Sasha and Barbie have this difficult conversation, Ken explores the school library. Instead of finding books about horses, he stumbles upon a collection of books about patriarchy, which leaves a significant impression on him. In the real world, Ken goes looking for a job but quickly realizes that he needs qualifications to secure employment. This realization leads him to understand the significance of qualifications in the real world. Meanwhile, Barbie is discovered crying on the street by some men representing Mattel, who decide to take her to Mattel headquarters. Ken, on the other hand, is shocked by how highly women regard men in the real world, which is the opposite of the gender dynamics in Barbie Land. Instead of following Barbie to Mattel, Ken decides to return to Barbie Land on his own. Gloria, Sasha's mother, arrives at Sasha's school and decides to follow the Mattel cars to find out what is happening with Barbie. At Mattel, Barbie meets Mr. Mattel, who informs her that the original creator of Barbie was a woman, but the company had been run by men ever since. Mr. Mattel tries to persuade Barbie to willingly enter a box, but she manages to escape the room after pretending to need the restroom. Barbie evades her pursuers and ends up in the house of an elderly woman named Ruth. Ruth reassures Barbie, telling her that she was perfectly fine the way she was, and there was no need to conform to the stereotypical image of Barbie. During her conversation with Ruth, Barbie becomes emotional. She says her goodbyes to the elderly woman when she hears the men from Mattel closing in on her. Outside the Mattel office, Gloria and Sasha are in their car when Barbie appears. Gloria offers to help Barbie and manages to outrun the men who were following them. Barbie learns that Gloria was the one playing with her all along and starts having second thoughts about what a Barbie with an existential crisis would look like. She realizes that her malfunction was caused by Gloria's memories and not Sasha's. It was Gloria who had triggered Barbie's existential crisis. Barbie apologizes to Sasha for the problems caused in the real world by the Barbie dolls. Together, they decide to return to Barbie Land. Upon their return to Barbie Land, Barbie discovers that Ken has taken over her house, and the entire world of Barbie has been transformed into Kendom. Patriarchy has overtaken the once female-dominated land. Barbie learns that all the other Barbies have been brainwashed by the Kens, making them subservient and causing them to forget their own identities as accomplished professionals. The Barbies have now become caregivers to the Ken dolls, catering to their needs. They have to remind the Barbies of their true potential and the diverse roles they could play in Barbie Land. Barbie and her friends execute a plan to rescue the other Barbies and deprogram them from their subservience to the Kens. This plan involves creating distractions and engaging the Kens with a decoy, allowing the Barbies to be rescued. Gloria plays a significant role by speaking to the brainwashed Barbies about female empowerment and encouraging them to rediscover their individual identities and dreams. As the deprogramming process unfolds, the Barbies begin to remember their unique talents, aspirations, and professions. The once subdued Barbies start to regain their confidence and assert themselves. The story highlights themes of empowerment, individuality, and breaking free from societal expectations and gender stereotypes. Barbie and the other Barbies use their charm and clever tactics to make the Kens believe they are interested in them. They express romantic interest, making the Kens believe they have finally won over the Barbies' affections. The Kens, excited and flattered, serenade the Barbies with songs. However, This is just part of the Barbies' plan to make the Kens jealous. They intentionally switch partners, causing the Kens to become competitive and ultimately leading to a massive brawl on the beach. Meanwhile, Mr. Mattel and his men arrive in Barbie Land during the chaotic Ken brawl. The Ken's antics make Ken himself realize that he is a distinct individual and not just an accessory to Barbie. In Barbie Land, elections are held in the absence of the Kens. President Barbie emerges as the leader, asserting that the Barbie government should not be dominated by the Kens, as they have their own voices and choices. This sequence of events underlines themes of individuality, empowerment, and challenging societal norms. Barbie and her friends have successfully liberated Barbie Land from the influence of patriarchy and established a more equitable society. The Kens finally return to Kendom and find that it has been transformed back into Barbie Land. Ken is upset by this and starts to cry, feeling like a failed doll. Barbie, in a heartfelt conversation with Ken, expresses her apologies for taking him for granted and not seeing him as a partner. Meanwhile, Mr. Mattel, who has been eavesdropping on their conversation, claims that he understands the burden that Ken was carrying. He, however, seems resigned to the situation and suggests creating an ordinary Barbie that resembles an everyday woman, someone who doesn't have grand aspirations or big dreams. However, Sasha asks that Barbie be given her own ending. Barbie is conflicted, as her life has always revolved around the routine of waking up to a perfect day ending with a glamorous party. She now grapples with what she truly wants for her life: exploration of individual identity and purpose. At this moment, Mrs. Ruth Mattel appears and reveals that she was the actual creator of the Barbie doll. She explains that she passed away years ago, and her industry had been taken over by men. Ruth discloses that Barbie was named after her daughter, Barbara. Ruth advises Barbie to embark on a journey of self-discovery to determine what she truly desires in her life. It is during this journey that she realizes she no longer wants to exist merely as an idea created by someone else. Barbie shares her newfound perspective with Ruth, expressing her desire to be human and to have control over her own destiny. She seeks Ruth's permission, but Ruth humbly tells her that she has no authority to grant such a request.